Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm awake, I think. What a rendition that I just played. That young woman who really, really nailed the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, you thought something bad was going to happen there, but wow. Saturday morning. Oh, we're back. I needed some coffee. What the hell am I doing this for? I really have no idea. But we're here. We have some topics to discuss today. Look at that globe behind me. Isn't that that's glorious, isn't it? I think I see my house. All right. Hope everybody's having a nice weekend so far. We're going to jump right into some topics here to discuss. The first thing on the docket today. Let's bring this up here. Ooh, look at those transitions. Ooh. Comedy. Is it under attack? Yes, it is. It has been for a while. And in this past week, we had something happen that really shook me. And I think shook the comedy world, actually. About a week ago. You pretty much heard the news. If you know me, you know the people I follow and such like that. That there was an incident that occurred at a Chrissy Mayer comedy show. Now, we all adore Chrissy. Out of all the comics that I've seen over the years, and I don't go to many, many comedy shows, and I haven't been to many other venues outside of Governor's and the Brokerage here on Long Island. She is not only extremely funny, she is one of the absolute nicest people on the planet. I know her personally. I love her. I love her husband. She is very pregnant, and she's going to be having a baby real soon. She's going to be a great mom. Excuse me. And so at this comedy show, when Chrissy does her shows, as most comics do, I believe, afterwards, they do a meet and greet. You know, these smaller venue clubs. You know, you're not going to see this when Dice did Madison Square Garden. But, you know, they'll hang outside or they'll hang in the green room and they'll, you know, push their swag, their CDs, their shirts, whatever. So apparently, and I don't think this was a direct attack at her, but more of, from what I heard anyway, of the overall patrons in the room, some dickwad released basically a chemical weapon into the green room. Pepper spray, something of that nature, which caused a whole bunch of issues, obviously. I mean, go into your kitchen right now, grab a thing of pepper, and just throw it in your face and see what happens. Is this where we are now? Really? I mean, you go to a comedy club to laugh, to have a good time. Look, I don't. You got to go in with a mindset that, especially if you're sitting up near the front, you're going to get fucked with. And that's part of the fun. We have lost the ability for self-depreciating humor. I don't get it. Growing up, I was made fun of a lot. I'll freely admit it. I went to a school that I was kind of an outcast, and I kind of ran with it. And I think it helped me learn self-depreciating humor. Make fun of yourself. I call myself a fat bastard all the time. Look at me. Come on. I'm portly. So, how you can go to a comedy club or any venue to go have a good time, and then this was obviously a premeditated thing. This idiot thought about this beforehand and said, "Oh yeah, when this is over, I'm going to choose my place and I'm going to do this." And let's add into the fact that Chrissy is very pregnant. Look, I thank God she's okay. Thank God everybody there is okay. This is just scary. Do you have to now have some kind of... Are we going to bring gas masks into comedy clubs now? What are we doing? I don't know if this person's going to get caught. I hope so. I hope they are just made an example of. This kind of thing cannot stand. You see that the nice girl that was just singing the Star Spangled Anthem a couple minutes ago? That's America. That's going out there, laying it out, having a good time, enjoying. That's what we're trying to do. And look, I've been to many Chrissy shows. She is hilarious. And she works a lot. She got the comedy shows that she does while pregnant. I'm sorry, I'm pregnant. My ass is sitting on that couch. I ain't moving. Let's be real. She does her podcast. She does a Simpcast. She does a show on Compound Media. Come on now. I mean, what? I can't fathom this whole thing in my head. When I first heard of this news, I had a real chilling feeling come over me. First of all, because I didn't know if she was okay. But second of all, I can't believe we would come to a point in society where the mental issues that are out there in the world are now starting to creep into everybody and are starting to eke into everybody's lives. You know, mental issues that people don't want to talk about it. There is a mental problem in this country. It's gotten so bad that, you know, it used to be, oh, these people are locked up in a way and they're in an asylum somewhere, Bellevue, whatever. They're getting the help that they need. Now they're not there anymore. They are out in the world. I get afraid for my kids when they go out. You never know when some random fucking idiot is going to do something stupid and you were just an innocent bystander caught up in this. So I don't know where or how we stop this, but it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. If people can do this, these people have got to be taken out of society and put in a place where they can get help. I'm not saying we got to do anything heinous, you know, to people like this. They need help. So just like other conversations in this country we can't have, because if you discuss them, you get, what's the word I'm looking for? Not canceled, basically. Was another word I was looking for. Nothing is going to get fixed unless you have these conversations. And this, to me, I'm sorry, it crossed a threshold. It finally brought, which I guess is an eventuality to everybody, some kind of crazy shit into your little circle of people that you know. And that's fucked. That's very fucked up. So thank God she's okay. I hope this person is caught. It was at a comedy club in New Jersey. If anybody has information, contact the New Jersey police. You know, contact me. I'll point you in the right direction. You can send me an email, subdivisionstv@gmail.com. And just a thrilling. Now, speaking about Chrissy, who you know, I have to give her such kudos for all the work that she does. To me, she is a pioneer in women's comedy. I have seen a few women comics over the years who were great. I saw Kimberly Congdon. She did a great job at the brokerage when I saw her with Louis J. Gomez. Felicia Gillespie, very, very funny. Now, I always made this comparison that, to me, look at this. Chrissy and Carol Burnett. Come on, there's got to be some kind of relation there. The ability to be extremely funny, the look, obviously. I'm sorry, if you can't see it, just get a new pair of glasses. But yeah, Carol Burnett was an icon in the 70s. Her show, shown all over the world, you know, broke that glass ceiling for female comics, and was known again throughout the world. I think Chrissy is this generation's Carol Burnett. Honestly, I had to put that out there. And nobody, where's my mouse? To me, that I've seen, works more or harder than she does. I mean, go follow her. Her podcast. There's the link there, so you can follow her on YouTube. Simcast is on YouTube. You can subscribe to Compound Media because she's on the Wet Spot, 7 p.m. on Monday nights. She's just hilarious. And I think in this whole lieu of what happened in the last week, we have to put more support out there and show that this will not stand for anybody. Male, female, vegetable, whatever. You go to a comedy show to have a good time. Have a good time. Enjoy, laugh. Just have fun. I can't believe we even have to discuss this. I mean, honestly. What the hell are we doing here, people? Hello to everybody in the chat. By the way, just to say that I am still working on getting calls integrated into the show, and Skype and Zoom. I just didn't have that much time this week to play with it. I could possibly take a call today at some point. I could put up the number and just do the old Gino where you take the phone and you just hold it up to the thing. And we could try that. I'm a little bit scared to do it, but why not? All right, so let's go and move on to the next topic here. Let's see. Elon. Old Elon Musk. Oh, you of the 7 trillion IQ could not install Windows 11 without an online Microsoft account. Oh, Elon, all you had to do was call me. Yes, this is a problem that Microsoft has had in the last couple of years. Back in Windows 10, they wanted to do this too. Microsoft wants and loves control. They want everything up in the cloud, just like everybody else does. I don't like that. Never have. So when you install either Windows 10 or Windows 11, and you have your laptop, desktop, whatever, connected to the internet, plugged in or on Wi-Fi as you're doing the setup process, it's going to ask you, create a Microsoft account. And what it's going to do then is copy your profile from your desktop, your layout, your settings, whatever, to the cloud. Now, the point of this is good in a way. If you are somebody who travels a lot and you've got to go on different machines, whatever, you're supposed to be able to log into Windows and then all your stuff will come down and kind of sync. The problem is I don't know a lot of people that do that. It's rare. And there's a problem if you lose or something happens to your online credentials, which I've seen happen a lot. You're locked out of all your shit. And there are people who don't want their stuff syncing up to the cloud. You know, there's all the hacking that goes on. Before you know it, you're getting a notice. Oh, yeah, Microsoft, yeah, we were hacked. I just want to let you know that all your shit is now on the dark web. So, how do we get around this? And I'm just going to tell you. There are 2 keys if you do not want to have an online Microsoft account with Windows 10 or Windows 11. And you can, by the way, do this after the fact. For example, you can go through the process of setting up Windows 10 or 11, set it up with a bogus online account, make a Gmail account, whatever. Once that's done and you're in Windows, you can go into Control Panel, Settings, Users, and create a local account. That'll be stored on your hard drive, not in the cloud. Set all your shit up in there, and then you can delete the other account. But you don't have that luxury if you're you just bought a laptop, just bought a desktop. You know, how do you get around that? This is one of the things that I had to help the boss out with at 3 o'clock in the morning when he was setting up his show. So, the way to do this, when you're installing Windows 10 or 11, or you've got a new machine, do not connect it to the internet. Don't plug it in. Don't connect to your Wi-Fi. Now, Windows 11, because Microsoft is just an asshole, will not let you not connect it to the internet when it brings up the Wi-Fi screen. So how do you get around that? Right here. Basically, when you get to that point, you're going to hit Shift F10. It's going to open up a command prompt window. In that window, you're going to type, where am I going? That. OOBE/bypass NRO. Hit enter. What's going to happen is Windows 10 or 11, more likely 11, is going to look like it reboots itself. And it's going to start up then, and it's going to let you bypass the online connection where you can create a local account. It'll say something like, oh, are you sure you want to continue with a limited setup? Yeah, you do. So look at that. I've just saved you all a bunch of headaches whenever you go buy a new machine. Now, Microsoft gets a little funky with this. They may eventually patch it, stop it, because, again, they want control. But as of this writing, it does work. So, look, Elon, I could have saved you. Could hire me. Just call me. Email me. I'm there for you, man. Fist bump. So. Oh, boy, look at this. I've gone 17 minutes. I've already burned through 2 topics. String these things out. I don't have that much today, but I think we got enough. So next, just to update everybody on the latest video and hardware drivers. There they are. Again, I like to do this every week. There have been no updates since last week. I believe. Let me just double check. I don't think the ATI drivers came out. Yeah, since last. Oh, well, actually, no, I'm wrong. 4 days ago, those Radeon drivers came out. So if you have either an NVIDIA GeForce and AMD Radeon, ooh, and look, I forgot to turn the chroma key on that window. Whoops. See? Show gaff. Hey, look at the green screen. Look at that. See, the light's not quite right. I got to work on that, but I messed that one up. So, now that that's out of the way, let's go into, let me get this closed 1 second here. We're going to bring up, all right, we want to talk about this here. Let's go here. And, where's my, oh, I got to turn my scan converter to capture Google Chrome. There we go. All right. I don't like that background. Let's put my Tron background on. Nice. All right, so here's another problem I don't quite understand. And this is just never ends. Another cyber attack. This one, Fulton County, Georgia. They've got, they were hacked in some way, shape, or form. Of course, they don't tell you how they were hacked. Could have been silly user opened an email. Somebody let them into the network, and they got ransomware, crypto locked, whatever you want to call it. And their data is now being held ransom for millions of dollars. And supposedly there's some heinous crap that these people, their name is ransomware group, Lockbit, I believe they're called. Yes. It's now holding their data for ransom. And what I don't get about this, and you hear about this in the news almost every day, somebody's getting hacked. Hacked. How do you stop this? How do you prevent this? What do you do? I have had clients of my own that have been ransomware. There's really, I will say there's really not a way to stop it in one aspect. You can have, we talked about antiviruses last week. They're bullshit. They don't stop anything. It's all comes down to the users. The users got to learn to not trust anything that comes in via email. That's the number one way this stuff happens. It's very rare that a network will have an open vulnerability unless, and here's where we cross roads where I don't quite understand, you have data on a server, and that server, for some reason, has full access to the internet. So if you've got a web server, something like that, that's got an open vulnerability, it can be taken advantage of. So here's my question. Why are we storing sensitive information on shit that faces the internet, that is wide open to the net? Why? Now, you could say, well, these people have to access it remotely and whatever. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. There are ways that you can really lock stuff down. If it's that, personal social security numbers, whatever is in there, medical information, it should not be on a machine that has any ability in any way to get out to the public internet. Now, government is separate. The government, for those of you that don't know, has its own internet. Oh yeah, it's a separate, complete entity. It's like Internet 1, Internet 2. So there are, ways that the NSA can talk to the Pentagon and all this stuff in their own separate, supposedly unhackable, unfindable internet, if you want to call it. But all these companies, Amazon, Microsoft, look what happened at MGM in Las Vegas a couple of months ago when they got hacked. I mean, how all these systems are interconnected. And the only reason they're interconnected is for really ease of use. Remote users or some lazy ass on the site wants to be able to dial into everything like me while you're sitting in a chair. So it really makes no sense to me why this stuff is kept in a place where it's accessible by any stretch. You worry about Experian, TransUnion, the credit bureaus, banks. They talk about the electrical grid in this country. Our electrical grid is how old? And why is it using any systems that are, for critical areas accessible by the internet? I know that there are missile silos around the world that still use DOS and floppy disks. That way you have to be on site to do something. Now, DOS had networking. I don't think I've ever really heard of a DOS network getting hacked over the internet. You can still have access to it. I'm sure if it was out there prevalent, people would find ways. We're talking about software that's 30 and 40 years old. But still, what do you do now? What is Fulton County going to do? Supposedly, 2 of the dates that the ransomware people gave them have gone by the wayside, and they haven't, at least as of this morning, I haven't read yet, they haven't leaked any of this information. So is it bullcrap? Do they have it? Do they not have it? Who knows? I had a situation with a client, and this is about more than 10 years ago. It was the first ransomware that I had ever heard of at the time, where their company, small company, got infiltrated via a dirty email. A person ran the program, and it military-grade encrypted their entire server and a bunch of machines on the network. I was able to find out where it came from and stuff like that, but it was already too late. And I was met with, once that's encrypted, you can't go back unless you have a valid backup. Now, these people have gotten smart. And how smart have they gotten? Well, check this shit out. I had another client that the same thing happened to them, and they got access into their server via an open port that was left on the network from an old machine that we used to dial into. And they logged into the server, and the server had a backup software on it, a cloud backup actually. But the problem is that the credentials to log into the backup were in the browser. So when they launched the browser, they went into the backup, deleted all of the online backups. Gone. And then crypto locked the server. That was the closest I personally had ever come to having to tell somebody there's nothing I can do. In the light of match, call the insurance company. For 3 days, I couldn't sleep, racking my head over this. But Chris thought ahead, and you got to have backups of backups of backups. Off-site backups, offline backups. In other words, backups that cannot be accessed through a server or machine if they were hacked. And I was able to get back about 98% of their stuff. That was a good one. Since then, I've learned with all of my clients to take extreme measures. Get off-site backups. Use the little USB pens. I mean, look, I just hit the thing. There is no reason for you not to go and buy one of these little suckers now. You can get them 128, 256 gig, and just run a batch program, back your stuff up, take it home every now and again. There's no reason. Don't be lazy. Do it, I'm telling you. So, I don't know what Fulton, Georgia's going to do. They said that they have gotten some of their machines back, which tells you that this was a massive exploit, vulnerability that they had. And what these ransomware programs do, which is scary. When you work at a business, or for some of you who have this at home, if you have a NAS drive at home or some kind of network storage at home, you map a drive in Windows or Mac. So you can store things on your S drive, your F drive, your E drive, whatever. These ransomware programs go, and they will not only crypto lock the machine that you're on, but anything that it's connected to, especially map drives. So that sucker's running, and you don't know it's running. You don't see anything. It's running in the background. Next thing you know, you go to open up a Word document, and it says Word doesn't understand it. What the hell am I opening it up? It looks fine. It's a DOC file or You'll see X file, double click, nothing. And in those directories, you see a text file that says, hey, if you want to unlock your files, .text. You open it up and there's their demands. I want 17 billion Bitcoin. It's a huge, huge problem. And like I said, there is no software that can really prevent this 100%. The closest that you're going to probably have is CrowdStrike, if you're going to really pay a lot for that for peace of mind. But I don't put 100% faith in that. You have to drill down to your users, drill down to yourself. Don't be stupid. Question everything that comes in email. Oh, look, Aunt Fran just sent me a birthday card. Let me just double click on that. Be careful. Use a sandbox. Look at the type of file. It could be malicious, man, and just destroy your shit. And that is just a nightmare to deal with. On a different level than identity theft. But you don't know what these people have, what these malware things do, what they're sending up. Also, don't keep any credentials in your browser. I like password managers. I don't fully put faith in them. I do not like cloud password managers. I use a password manager called RoboForm. I've used it for about 10 years. I like it because it stores things locally. It does have a cloud sync if I want to use it for different machines. It is highly encrypted. But even that, I mean, is there any safer way than storing your bank account password on a pad in your drawer? Hey, it might be like the 80s. Remember in War Games when they got the code to the school computer pencil on the little desk drawer? But what else can we do? Nobody remembers every password that they've got. God knows I don't. I have 72 trillion passwords in my head. I don't know how I remember half of them. Yes, I probably remember your password. It's all up in here. So, are they going to pay it? I don't know what the demand is. I don't think they said what exactly the demand that they were asking. I'm sure it's millions and millions of dollars. Fulton County is no longer listed on Lockbit's site on the dark web. That's another thing, the dark web. People ask me, what's the dark web? Let me explain it quickly for you so you know. The dark web is only accessible, it's called Tor, the Tor network, via a program called Tor Browser, which is a modified version of Firefox. And it connects to this network, basically, almost like a VPN, where there are thousands of nodes or connections around the world, and it kind of bounces your data across all of them. It spreads it out, so supposedly it's kind of anonymous. This is why people will go on there, and if you've ever seen the Silk Road movie, it was all about the dark web. They sell drugs, murder for hire. I mean, it's about as heinous shit as you can get. Think the bad of the bad lives on the dark web. Everybody, it's free. Everybody can access it. It's a little bit weird to understand, but if you get doxxed, stuff like that, the information goes on the dark web. Now, the FBI, the NSA, cyber agents around the world, they're in the dark web. They have learned to get in there pretty good, and they have done a pretty good job of being able to trace and find people that do this heinous shit on there. So there's a bit of a false sense of security if you're going to be an asshole and you're going to go on the dark web to try to buy somebody to murder your wife or husband. You're going to be found out. Don't be a dick. So that's what the dark web is, and that's where this particular ransomware agent Lockbit lives. I guess they have it's called an onion site because all of it, you have .com in the regular web. Well, .onion, O-N-I-O-N, is a website on Tor, on the Tor network. So that's where they have had their site, and they were posting this stuff. Now, the FBI did seize lockdown servers. I heard a bunch of servers, bunch of sites. You know, they put that FBI warning up, we have seized this domain. But they have come back. And the leader of this particular ransomware, whatever you want to call them, group, he's a pretty heinous motherfucker. He came right back at the FBI and put another site up and said basically, hey, FBI, I'm sorry. I've learned in life that there are two people that you don't ever want to piss off: the IRS and the FBI, because they will fuck you 7 ways from Sunday in orifices that you don't know you have. So, ooh, the coffee's gone cold. I got a dog lover cup. So, we'll keep an eye on what's going to happen there. We'll see if there's an update next week for the Fulton County disaster that is going on down there. Let's turn to something a little more cheery. Why has everything got to be just a nightmare? Let's see. Let's talk about video games. We all love video games. Oops, sorry about that. Let me just back this up to the beginning. So, I have been playing video games since, I guess the first video game system I had, 1981, I think, the Atari 2600, which was a console, back in the days. Black console, used old cartridges to play video games. And I remember this vividly. We had gotten this for Christmas. My parents got it from my sister and I. And that morning, I believe, we had hooked it up to my grandmother's color TV in the basement when we were living in Queens. Old, couldn't have been more than, how big was that TV? Maybe a 20-inch TV. Back then, old CRT, sitting on the stand. Come on, if you're in my age bracket, you remember this. If you only remember LCD TVs, get out. So, we put the console down, and I remember my mom and my grandmother playing. Let me see if I can bring this up here. 1 second here. I should have this one ready. I just forgot about it. It popped in my head. Let's see. Atari. Yes, here it is. The old game Breakout. So you basically had... Look at this. This is 1982 technology, people. You got a pad with a roller like this. Roller wheel on top. This is video gaming in its infancy. Listen to that. Listen to that high fidelity beep sound. So, in the process of my grandmother and my mother playing this against each other, if I remember vividly, one of them pissed themselves because they were laughing so hard trying to do this. This was the beginning of a new world. And how far we have come. Now, this actually, being color, was ahead of the curve. If you are older than myself, then you would have remembered the old ColecoVision and Intellivision, I believe, were not color. Those were black and white. And one of them, I don't remember which one, had a not cellophane, but like a plastic cover that you would put over the TV, because all the TV would display was dots. And you would have to have this overlay that looked like a tennis court or a basketball court or something like that to play, but there was just a dot going over the screen. Look at where we are today. I don't know of any technology in my lifetime, space travel, cars, whatever you want to call any piece of technology, that has grown so much from its infancy than video games, due to the power of today's video cards and computers, which the average video, even a crappy video card today, is like 1,000 times more powerful than they had on the first Apollo missions that went to the moon. If you believe that's real thing. So I go to this, the evolution of video games. This particular video here, let me open this up a little wider so you can see it, happens to be baseball games. I have been an avid baseball gamer for years. I still play baseball, actual real hardball, fanbaseballnyc.com. You can check out the league. We play here in New York. And I remember going back and seeing games like this, and I love playing sports video games. More than I love playing Call of Duty, Rocket League, anything like that. You know how much we love playing golf with the boss. But let's just take a little trip here on. Look at this. Oh, look at those graphics. Come on. Oh, look, we're in color now. Okay, now I want to say something about this particular game. Now, this, according to this, is 1978 baseball. There is one that we're going to come across here that was my first baseball game. It's called Real Sports Baseball. Oh, look, what the hell is that? Look at that graphics. Come on now. Oh, I remember that one. That was in television. Look at that bomb. You don't even have a shadow under the ball back then. This was you and your friend playing with the old Atari-style joystick with the big red button on the left. One of the was it ColecoVision, had the controller with the buttons on the bottom, like the numeric pad. Well, look at this. Can you imagine? Okay, now this listed is 1983. I remember this one, Star League Baseball. This was the first baseball game I had on the Commodore. I remember going to Sears, and that's when Sears sold computer games. Get back in the day, if you could actually believe that. Decent selection too. Going to Sears and Green Acres Mall and begging my parents, please, I want my games on baseball, please. It probably took me a solid 6 weeks. And I believe the game was... I got the $18.99 in my head. But it may have been upwards of $30. I think the average Commodore game at the time was about $30. For, it would come in a box with a disc, a floppy disk. And this blew my mind. I would sit there for hours playing this game. Which, let's be honest, was a pretty... Forget about comparing it to today. Back then, I was like, oh, look, it's got a crowd. Oh, my God. And you can see the ball when it's in the air. I mean, this was... Look at that. Oh, it's gone. It's got organ. It's got organ. Oh, the original RBI baseball. Or what looked like it. But that, I think, was... listed as 83. It actually looks like Nintendo baseball, but it's not. Look at these pudgy players. Look at this. Oh, look, that's got shadow. Look at that crowd. That's RBI baseball. And from 86. That's bases loaded. Okay, funny bases loaded story. I was playing this game with my friend Peter at his house, and Peter. Remembering this, Peter had a bedroom in a loft, and it has a hardwood floor and circular steps that would go up to the loft. And we were playing this game, and I was playing with the New York team that had a batter on it named Star. And this batter was just monstrous. He'd hit a homer almost every time he was up. And we were playing a tight game, and it was late in the innings. And Star comes up and just bashes a homer, just like this one. To center field. Look at that. Out. So, Pete was so distraught by this. I think his mom had called him to go downstairs, and he jumped up and he stomped off. But in the process, remember, this is a console. This is on the original NES. So it's laying there on the floor. You got the wires connecting it to the back of the TV, the controller wires. He trips over the wires, goes head first down the stairs, makes this horrific noise of bone on hardwood. Boom, 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 boom. Yanked the Nintendo out of the wires. And what could you do? I laughed my ass off. I never forgot it. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt. The Nintendo, not so much. But yeah. I don't know. I remember that. It was fucking hilarious back in the day. So yeah, that was baseball. Now, okay. This is where things started. This is where baseball simulations started getting serious. That's Earl Weaver baseball. Now, it shows at 1987, But the original Earl Weaver Baseball, I believe, came out in 1983. It was done by a guy who I talked to once. His name was Eddie Dombrowski. He was, no, not Kevin Dombrowski. Eddie Dombrowski. He worked for EA at the time. And this is the first baseball game where you were able to create teams, create stadiums. And you can see it's very primitive, but this was the de facto standard for a while. And I have it somewhere. I had sent a letter to Electronic Arts pretty much begging them to have Earl Weaver Baseball come out on the Commodore. It only came out on the Amiga, on the IBM PC. And they were like, oh, Mr. B, we're sorry. It's not going to come out. But here's a catalog of our other games. I was so mad. But again, look at the primitive. Now, a batter pitcher interface, which was first back then. We'll just let this roll. Baseball Stars. 1989 in the NES. Well, let me tell you about Baseball Stars. This was a great game. You can see that the fluidity of this game was much better than anything previous generation. And this is on the NES. Baseball Stars was the first game that I remember that inside the NES cartridge, I wish I had one here, but look it up. You know what an NES cartridge looks like. It had a battery and storage, memory, that you could play a full 162 game season or half a season, whatever, and it would save stats. Again, you could create your own team. Couldn't create stadiums, but you had contracts to sign people to, free agents, all that kind of stuff. Now, the problem with this, it was great. We played the dick out of this game. The problem was, and I will remember this one vividly. And if my best friend is watching this, I'm going to mention him now. He will remember this vividly. We would play this game all day, 20 games a day. Well, the original NES had a problem. You would put a game cartridge in, you'd turn on the NES, and it would go black screen, gray screen, black screen, gray screen. Not working. So what did you do? You pop the cartridge out, blowing it, put the cartridge back in, turn on, works fine. Why that did it? Obviously some kind of contact issue, whatever. But there was a time, and I know how everybody loves gaming rages, baby. There was a time where we took the cartridge. I was over his house, and we put in Baseball Stars. We wanted to play. He had a season going, and he was well through it. Probably 130 games through 162 game season. It's a lot of games. And he got the black, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't working. Popped it out, blew in it, put it back in, turned it on, and everything was gone. All the stats, the teams, every game. It was like you just bought the game brand new. And I vividly remember the fist coming down right on top of the NES. And you remember how the NES had a door that on a hinge that would open up to put the cartridge in? Well, he popped that son of a bitch off, and it went flying across the room. Oh, I felt so bad because the same thing had happened to me on multiple occasions. You would get to the point where you would get so nervous to put this game in the NES and turn it on because, God forbid, something was going to get broken. Controller, NES, TV, some kind of valuable. Oh. Literally like turning on your computer and having nothing there. All the work, all the time you spent. You might have been we were probably in first place. We were great players. And, it took you hours to create the team, get everybody, all your friends' names in there, and all fucking gone. And for the rest of the time, I believe that he had that particular NES. It had no door. It was doorless. So you just pop the cartridge in and push it down to lock it in and turn it on and go from there. Oh, yeah. My NES, I think I hit it so hard I cracked the top of it. Was a big plastic box. And I believe I cracked the top right off it. I broke it in half and I had to glue it. And yeah. Not proud of that moment, but shit, it was funny. It was very funny. Now, Baseball Stars also, by the way, before I go to this next one, for those of you who were stand-up arcade fans, Baseball Stars was made by a company called SNK Corporation, a Japanese company, I believe. They were the ones who created the Neo Geo. Now, if you know what the Neo Geo is, I give you a pat on the back. That was an actual stand-up arcade. They had one in the pool hall when I was growing up, where you put in a quarter and it had multiple games that you can select from. One of them was Baseball Stars 2 Professional, I believe. But this was a console that was sold in places like Electronics Boutique. I forget the other game store. Back in 92, I used to work at the Green Acres Mall for the Christmas season when I was in high school. And I worked in Electronics Boutique. And there was an old guy there. His name was Val. He worked there, who was like, all the gamer kids would come to Val. He was an older dude. Kind of looked like John Minko. Had no hair up here. And he would know everything about gaming, this dude. Oh, you got whatever system? Yeah, I recommend this game, that game. I think the old man just went home all night and played video games. He was such a good guy. So anyway, we sold the Neo Geo there. And I remember, this is 1992. The Neo Geo itself was $799.99. That's a fuck ton of money for a video game console. It was, I believe, the first 32-bit console. Which didn't mean a lot, but as the Genesis and stuff came out. But the games, like Baseball Stars 2, $199 each. Never sold one. We only had 2, I believe. And during that holiday season, I remember John Starks of the New York Knicks and Anthony Mason, may he rest in peace, of the New York Knicks, came into the store when I was working one day. And I was talking to Anthony Mason, who was just a mountain of a man. To this day, I don't think I've ever met anybody with shoulders so big who weren't wearing football pads. And he always, looked kind of bloodshot. He was smoking something before he came in there. And he was buying something for his wife, girlfriend at the time. And I literally, now I'm 6'2". He was, I think, 6'8", 6'9". And I felt like I was looking up like this when I was talking to him. And I thought he was going to buy the Neo Geo, but he didn't. So that just shows you, if you were a guy that was making millions of dollars and you didn't buy the Neo Geo, that thing wasn't selling very much. Also, the Neo Geo is the best emulator. If you have, if you like an older PC or even your current PC, there are emulators where you can play older consoles, Genesis, Dreamcast, whatever. The Neo Geo emulator, I think it was called Neo Rage, was one of the best emulators I've played on a PC. And you can get the full library of games and just use your controller and the Xbox controller, whatever. Phenomenal. Check it out. They've kind of cracked down on, they call them ROM cartridges that you load into these emulators to play over the last couple of years. But you look on the web, you can find them. So Tommy Lasorda Baseball. Look at that. Look at that graphic. That was the first baseball game on the Sega Genesis. I remember. I had it. I had 95% of these games going. And yeah, look at that. Oh, the Sega Genesis. Bad News Baseball, another one. You notice that a lot of these look kind of the same. Oh, look at that graphic there. Super Baseball Simulator 1000. Yeah. You can see how... Look at the infield drawn. You got one line going around the infield. Think about the simplicity. Oh, I remember that. Base Wars. Let's forward a little bit through this. Let's see. Super Baseball 2020.
To third.
Oh, look at that. I remember this. That's Hardball 3. That was one of the first games on the IBM when I got my first IBM clone back in 93, 92? No, earlier. 90. The voice of Al Michaels. Now we're getting crazy. Because now we've got stadiums. That's Toronto. That's the Sky Dome. And you got Al Michaels.
Welcome back to National Run
I
Critic.
just wrongly clicked that.
Runners run through the bag, which is pretty good. It gives it a little more of a feel.
Oh, that's Little League Baseball on the NES.
Look at this play.
Again, looks just like Baseball Stars.
Phenomenal. He bounces.
Same thing.
But phenomenal. Okay.
This is guy talking.
Compared to some
Look at this. Ooh, that's a high fly ball. All right, field. We're going back out of kids under it makes the catch. So let's zoom a little bit past this to see a little more again. Very Japanese things, animations with these games. Oh, that's a shot. Wait, look at those. Look at the crowd. Ooh, you hit that in outer space. Look at that. And it's still going. The evolution of baseball games. And what do we got here? All right, this was Baseball Stars. I know we saw it, but this is, you got all the players that you're making. And oh, look at the underhand. Yes, there was girls. Let's back up and see this again. There were girls in this game. They were called the Pink Ladies. So now, whether this was obviously pre-trans, whatever. So look at the girl who pitches underhand softball style. Look at this. That's pretty good. Now, admittedly, the lovely ladies were awful. They would win like 3 games a year. But that's pretty spectacular. Good thinking by SNK there. I like the integration. Let's go forward to, let's see, have many of today's games. So, yeah, where is... I don't know where it is. But if you take that up to like... I don't have this on here. Like here, MLB The Show. Look at today. Let's go in here. Look at this. Look at how far we have come. Oh, look at Derek Jeter with the jump shot. Look at the crowd. Look at the field. Now, this is in a span of about 30 years. 30, 40 years. This is like you're watching it on TV. It is absolutely insane. That looks like the Seattle Kingdom. Yeah, that's what that is. This is MLB The Show 24. The running is realistic. The throwing is realistic. The only problem is, oh, he's got the Kingdom coming down. You can't play that on PC. It's console only, unless you do the whole Xbox Game Pass, whatever. The last baseball game for PC that was MLB licensed, I believe, was MLB 2K12. 12. No, I'm sorry. RBI 21, which was a game that came out from Major League Baseball because there were no other games to play on the PC that were MLB licensed where you can play with the MLB players, etc. There is a game that I play. Oh God, I'm forgetting its name now. There's a baseball game on Steam for the PC. What it is? It is. God, where is it? It was Out of the Park Baseball, but that's a simulation. The only one that you can actually play with a controller, Super Mega Baseball. But again, no MLB licenses. Although the last one, I believe, you can play with like some historic players like David Ortiz, Babe Ruth, stuff like that. But that's all there is. How can you not have a PC baseball game these days? How? I've been dying for one. There's a website called MVPmods.com that takes the old MVP baseball, which came out in 2005 from EA, and kind of reverse engineered it where they've fixed stadiums and updated uniforms and make it so that you can play it today. But why do we have to go through this? Why? Money. They say that the PC games just don't sell enough, or they were pirated too much, whatever. And they've basically taken that one love out of my life. There's no way. Well, I hear the puppy. There's no way around that. And the same thing has happened with football games. Let's look at the old football games. I love looking at the old tech. Let's see. Look at this thing. Football in the Atari in '78. Woo! That field. So realistic. It looks like green bar paper that I used to print out reports on a dot matrix printer back in the 80s. Ooh, maybe that's the road stadium. That's pretty stellar right there. Let's see some in-game action. Whoa! What the fuck? Remember the old Coleco handheld game? Bloop, 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 bloop. Click, 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 bloop, bloop, bloop. How popular that thing was? They sold millions of that thing. This is pretty impressive. Let's see. Look at this one. Oh, this one's actually got some action. Ooh, look at that QB. Real sports football. So now, I talked to you before about real sports baseball. Real sports baseball was the only game that I've ever gotten that in the manual, it told you how to hit a home run. Pull down on the stick, hit the ball. Home run every time. I shit you not. So when we had first gotten that game, and I played my sister on the Atari, I didn't tell her about this. Ooh, I was a little bastard. And we're playing in like the second inning. I was up like 30-0. And she's sitting there. How do you do? What the hell? Now I'm sitting there. Bloop, home run. Bloop, home run. And it would make this really annoying bell dinging sound when you hit the ball hard. Home run. I'm just throwing that in there. So real sports arcade football back in '82. Let's see, we got look at this again. Ooh, by Mattel in '82. Remember Mattel? Holy mackerel! Boy, this is like flag football. It's 5v5. Look at how far we've come with this. This is insane. Oh, 1988 now. Ooh, now we got the behind perspective. Oh, so for some reason sorry about that. The quarterback disappeared. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So you take that and then you look at today. That's a video game. Look at that. That's Madden 24, which, by the way, if you got a PC, which is available for PC, don't buy it. It's ass wrapped in a shit burrito. The first time that a sports game has gone next gen on a PC, which means it's the same version as the Xbox or the PS5 has, I've read about problems with lag, terrible lag. They did not do a good port of it. So once again, they try to give us a little breadcrumb on the PC and they shit the bed. But this, to me, is better than watching Monday Night Football if you got a console. Look, this is insanely good. Smooth as silk, 60 FPS. Look at that. And Jalen Hurts, you suck in a video game too. Hate the Eagles. I don't know if Taylor Swift is in this game. But, yeah. Think of the code. The sheer amount of lines of code that have to go into making something like this. How everything is interactive, bounces off each other the right way, the dynamics of the ball, adding in the wind, all this stuff. This is absolutely mind-bogglingly amazing. Unbelievable. How far we have come with video games. Look at the original Doom. I mean, we could look at that. Like, let's see. So yeah, the original Doom. Look at this sucker. Back in the DOS days, this was your de facto FPS, first-person shooter. Look at this. Now, to some people, myself included, I couldn't play this game very much because you would get motion sickness from the screen. In fact, I'll stop it just because there might be some people who get that from it. The way that the walls moved and the colors or something made you get that feeling. But look at that versus, today's Call of Duty. Look at this. Amazing. So it makes you wonder, where are we going to go 10 years from now? People have asked me, oh, what about VR headsets and stuff like that? It's getting there. I don't have a VR headset. I've tried a couple. I was always waiting for one where the screens inside were much higher hertz, 144, 200, something like that, for fluid motion, which I believe they are now. The ones from Steam, and maybe even the new Oculus is up there. But can you imagine where this is going to go in 10 years, 20 years? We're already at a point where AI is taking these videos and making them ultra realistic, where you can't tell what is what. If this is in an immersive environment around you, you are going to be so locked into this. Imagine being in this particular map here on Call of Duty, turning around, seeing behind you, seeing your teammates with the audio, the positional audio, where you can hear your teammate is back over here, and you turn around and you're looking at him. Holy shit. It's not scary. I really want to see where it's going to go. I don't want the AI aspect to overtake this, because everything has to have some kind of AI today. But this evolution is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. I can't wait. I love where we are now. Like I said, you get yourself a good pair of gaming headsets. Get yourself a nice size screen. If you want a curved monitor or a monster monitor to sit in front of, and you play these games, and before you know it, minutes turn into hours. You're sitting on there for 8 hours playing. You can't feel your ass. Swamp ass is a real thing, I will tell you. And it eats away at your life. It does, but it's fun. You're playing with your friends. There is nothing better than playing video games with the boss, because we both have this rage ability where we will get so mad at the game that we're playing. If you've watched any of my gaming streams, I'll throw something. I gotta have like a thing of paper towels near me, because that usually I could throw that against the wall and it'll have no damage. But I have broken things before. This is what we do. This is gaming. So yeah, look, God, it's the graphics of this game are just ridiculous. Oh, the drone! Look at the drones up in the air, pinpointing people. You want to play this? You really do. It's really a lot of fun. So that's video gaming. And let's see, what else did we have on the docket today? All right, I'm going to show you something that I don't really even know how to explain this. I love 80s comedies when it comes to movies. I'd rather be sitting here watching I'd rather be sitting here watching Armed and Dangerous, the old Eugene Levy, John Candy flick, than almost anything that's on TV tonight. I'm not a show watcher. I still have not seen all The Sopranos. The last show that I actually think I watched front to back was Oz on HBO, because I love the actors in that, and a lot of actors in that went on to great things, like J.K. Simmons and the dude that does the insurance guy that's always fucking shit up on TV in the commercials. I forgot his freaking name. Dean Winters is his name. A great actor. Ernie Hudson was in it anyway. So a lot of the 80s comedies, and again, I grew up during that time. So like one of my favorite movies of all time, Cannonball Run. Love the Cannonball Run. Come on, I'm a kid. I had Matchbox cars. In fact, I have, ooh, look at this. I actually have this next to me here. Grab this. Look at the little Matchbox ambulance from the Cannonball Run. A Transcon minivac. Look at that. I'll have that. That was the Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise car in the Cannonball Run 1. Cannonball Run 2 was terrible. And we're not even going to talk about 3 Speed Zone. So in that whole genre area came one of my favorites, Smokey and the Bandit. Now, we all love Smokey and the Bandit. And we all remember this great scene. I love this.
How much owe you, ma'am?
$1.50.
There you are. Cheap change.
$1.50.
Keep your eye out for that Mr. Bandit.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a goddamn hurry.
You want something?
Hush puppy, Daddy.
We got no time for that crap.
You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. Jackie Gleason, who was just an amazing man, amazing actor, honeymooners, all that. This is the greatest thing that he ever did. Buford T. Justice is one of the best characters of any movie ever created. I'm sorry, it's truth. He played this so well and is so funny. And look at all, I mean, that's Burt Reynolds in his heyday right there.
Diablo and Doc.
Stacking my slip.
You must be in a hell of a hurry, huh, Sheriff?
Bet your ass on that, boy.
Oh, you got a little mess there. Let me help you out here. Get that off of there. That's
Wait
an officer.
Much obliged.
Who are you chasing? Somebody chasing you?
Nobody chasing me, boy. I was chasing a goddamn maniac all the way from Texarkana, Texas.
Really? Was he a bank robber?
Bank robbing his baby kid alongside of what this dude is doing.
Yeah.
Almost killed 20 law officers. Driving through people's backyard. Nothing.
Now, if he almost killed 20 law officers, there would be such a massive police force after the Bandit. But that's just, come on.
Down mailboxing. Got a broad in the car. Took across the state line. Got the man out. I don't think he's got a permission. And that's getting him. How's that for high kids? What a...
What is that noise? Excuse me. That ingestion noise that he just made. I gotta hear it again.
high kids. What a...
Oh, let me pick.
I can't. I love him. It's such a great role.
Let me pick. No. You're an officer of the law. I'd be honored.
Much obliged. Where's the can? I gotta take a squirt.
Right back there. Just one.
Hey!
There's the car.
My car!
You're going the wrong way.
Oh! Hang on!
What the hell are you doing?
Sheriff Justice is in there!
I know!
Thank you,
I do not love this.
Sure thing. Woohoo! Sheriff!
Now I'm sorry. She takes this off and she rolls this back up. You know they reuse that TV. So, why did I bring up Smokey and the Bandit? Well, there were 3 Smokey and the Bandit movies made. The original one, this one, which is from, I believe, 1977. They had Smokey and the Bandit 2, which, if you recall that one, that's the one about the elephant that was pregnant. Dom DeLuise was in it as well. He played the doctor. That came out in, 80, I think. Then there was Smokey and the Bandit 3, which had a lot of controversy with it. Smokey and the Bandit 3, it's really hard to even explain. Buford T. Justice retires, goes down to Florida, and he goes with his son, Junior, and there's a whole bunch of bad things that happen in Florida. And then the Enos brothers give him a challenge he's got to go take this fish, put it on top of his car, which is like some kind of advertisement display, and drive it to somewhere within an allotted time. And they try to stop him the whole way. Well, the controversy with this movie is completely interesting. It was not the original premise of the movie. Smokey the Bandit 3, if you've ever seen it in its present form, was cut and sliced in a bunch of different ways that they kind of had to remake the story. I want to show you what the original Smokey and the Bandit 3 was supposed to be like. Now, this is a trailer that was played for an audience, a test audience. And from what I read, the audience all, I guess you're supposed to fill out something afterwards as a test audience, what you thought about it or whatever. Every single person in this theater left so confused about what was going on that they had to literally rewrite this movie in like a month's time because they had already filmed a lot of it, which kind of makes sense if you've ever seen 3. So watch this and you can kind of understand what... Again, this was never put out.
Ladies and gentlemen, a message from Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
You can all sit down now. I want to thank all you nice ladies and gentlemen and my fellow officers. It was awful kind of you to all come here tonight to celebrate the retirement of your old friend, Buford T. Justice. But before I go, I got one piece of unfinished business. A hunk of trash known as the Bandit. Now, you all know I pursued that sucker through 20 states, 3,000 miles, and 2 movies. I finally figured out a way to trap him. I have put myself in his place. Also his boots, and his shirt, and his hat. And
Okay, what? Did you just catch that? Let me go back for a second so you can kind of rehear that. So you can kind of understand what we're talking about here.
place. Also his boots, and his shirt, and his hat, and his coat, and his mustache. In short, I have succeeded in becoming my own worst enemy, the Bandit. So if you think the first 2 go-rounds was something, you just watch my smoke this time. Some bitch.
This has been Buford T. Justice, asking you to support your local sheriff, because nobody else will. Smokey is the Bandit, Part 3.
Okay, did you catch that? You caught that little 2-letter word after Smokey? Is the Bandit. So, now, I've read a whole bunch of background here. I don't know if the fact that Burt Reynolds was like in Smokey the Bandit 3 in its current iteration for about 20 seconds. The end of the movie, he does a little cameo in a dream sequence of all things. So I don't know if it's the fact that he wanted too much money or he just didn't want to do it. But you're going to take Jackie Gleason, give him a mustache, which, again, if you go back, you can see that. Look at that little tiny stash that's there. Oh, there you go. Oh, my Lord. And you're going to make him the Bandit. What? I would have loved to have been in that theater, because I would have just wrote on that paper, what the fuck? There are certain movies that are iconic. Now look, Smokey the Bandit, the original one, was not an Oscar-winning, Academy Award-winning, whatever you want to call it, movie. But especially when you're a kid, it's a de facto standard. You love that movie. There's nobody that didn't like Smokey the Bandit. The movie was crap, but it was great to watch. Now, what in the hell were the writers thinking? And again, this was previous to how the current Smokey the Bandit 3 came out. It almost falls in line with Caddyshack and Caddyshack 2. Like, what the hell went on there? But this is... I can't. Now, I don't know if I have this. Let me see. There is... I don't think I have it here. It's just deleted scenes. There's a scene in Smokey and the Bandit 3, and this is how badly they had to cut this movie up. Where Buford T. Justice's car is going down the road, and I guess Jackie Gleason was absent that day, or I think it was actually after the movie was completed, and he said, I don't want anything else to do with this thing. It's fucking a dumpster fire. So they added the scene is where you see Buford T. Justice's car going down the road, and the line is said is, we're making good time now. You see the car flying down the road. Well, they had a different person voice Jackie Gleason's part. And it was obviously somebody that was not Jackie Gleason, because you hear his voice, but I wish I had found it. But it got we're making good time now. It's horrific, but it's hilarious. Yeah. Smokey and the Bandit 3. So the Smokey is the Bandit. Could you imagine Jackie Gleason in that form as the Bandit? It's a mindfuck. I would have loved to see some kind of finished piece of this. I guess he's wearing the red shirt with the black jacket, open at the top, and he's driving. They fit Jackie Gleason in I guess what would have been an 83 Trans Am, because that's the one that was actually in Smokey and the Bandit 3. And what is he doing? I got to get a script of this or some kind of read for it. I just would have loved to see that. So that's really all I kind of had for this week. I didn't have a lot of time to prep a lot of topics, but do you want to try to take a call? Let's see. We could try this. I don't know how this would work. This is all live, folks. Let's see. I think I have the number here. Let's see if we can do this. Let me clear this. Okay, I'm going to put the number on the screen in a scroll here, and we'll see who calls. Let's see. There you go. Now mind the red box. Oh, that'll go away when I take the call. But that should be that. So if you want to call that number, it's area code 631-209-7577. It should, I think, ring my phone. I'll take a call. So we'll wait a couple minutes for that. Is there anything else I had going on here while we're seeing? Let's see. Chrissy. Yeah, as far as the call integration in the show, guest. I will have a guest next week. I have something lined up. So that'll draw out the missing 40 minutes that I'm not having this week. I don't see any calls coming through yet. Let me just make sure this thing is working. Oh, look out. We got a call. Let's see.
Donald Lugers, Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, we got Donald.
Except press 1 to send a voicemail.
Hello, Donald. You were on the air.
I am speaking with the great multi-talented Chris Baldessano himself.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let me take you off speaker so it goes. I'll have to try. Let me see. I don't know how this will actually work where I'm not echoing. Let's see. But yes, it is me, Donald. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm down the middle, Chris. chime in here real quick and say, we all have a real soft spot in our chest for the great Anthony Cumia, but brother, the torch has been passed, and you are the man now. Congratulations.
That is awfully kind for you to say. Awfully kind, but look, there is no way, shape, or form that I can ever even attempt to say that anything that I do here is can hold a torch to what Anthony's done, what he still does. He is the greatest. He inspired me to do this. Really just to, I have this hardware around here. I have these cameras, and I had this silly green thing behind me. And I said, let me see what I can do. I was more curious of what I'm able to do than ever actually thinking of, come on, I'm not even going to say the word replace, please. Anthony's show is one of the greatest shows that the internet has ever spawned. And I actually think he should have won Webby Awards because of it. The production that Garrett, Steve, and Drew, and Luby do in the background, E-Rock, it's a professional show. This ain't professional shit. This is just a guy who knows a lot about computers, showing that I have some kind of capability. Maybe it'll open a door someday. But no, I mean, you gotta love the Boss's show. All the shows on Compound Media, I love watching them all the time. And yeah, but I do thank you for the kudos.
Oh no, of course. Humble. You're very humble, and that's another sign of genius. But I think we'd all really love to know, and I'm sure you've told this story before. How did you meet Anthony? What were the events leading up to it? If you could just, in a nutshell, tell us, I for one would sure love to know.
Okay, very good question. So originally, I had planned to meet Opie and Anthony. This is going back. Let me see. My son was born in 1999. This had to be 1998, around there. They had just begun on WNEW radio, and they had done a road show at a place called Sprats, I think it was called at the time, which was an outdoor club. And I had gone there early with my wife. We weren't even married at the time. And we were one of the first two people online, and their producer, Rick, came up to us and asked if we wanted to help set up the show. I was like, yeah, sure. So we set it up, and I don't want to go into the whole spiel of what happened there, but we wound up not being able to meet either of them there that day. Fast forward a bunch of years, it actually was Big A that invited me to one of Anthony's parties at his house. And I, of course, I was like, I would really like to get the invite from him, I don't know, third party, what have you. But somehow we had got in contact, and he had told me, he's like, yeah, come on down, whatever. And I was blessed enough to go to a party at his house, meet him, and meet all of the brilliant people, great friends that I have now. Dennis, Fred from Brooklyn, everybody. Jamie, all these great guys that were there who I love to death. These people are all spectacular. All of them are talented in what they do, and it was a blessing. But yeah, the guy who really I thank for letting me, for bridging that gap from me and Anthony was Big A. Big A!
Oh! Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, Big A is he's a great friend. He comes over the house every now and then, and he was the one who took some great holiday pictures for me and the family this year. He's become a brilliant person with a camera. He goes around New York City. He's got his own little thing going where he takes, pictures of things in the park and stuff like that, and people. And I'm glad that he's got such a keen eye. He's grown into a great photographer.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I like photography too. Now, Big A, is that the guy that has kind of like a squeaky voice or something?
He's got a stutter, where certain words he'll hang up on. But yeah, he's a fairly large individual, and he's he was one of the O&A personalities for years, back probably right after that roadshow back in the 90s. He was a big part of the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, yeah, I never heard of Opie and I'm one of the people that have never heard of Opie and Anthony. I just discovered Anthony on YouTube one time, and I just binge watched him until I couldn't binge watch him anymore. And then I thought, how am I going to watch this guy? And then that led to me getting a 6-month subscription to Compound. But you know what, Chris? I think I might be the last person that Anthony actually replied to on his Facebook page. I told him this on his Facebook page, and he goes, "Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's him."
Yeah. What he's done, and to not, I mean, it's amazing that I know you live in Canada, so Opie and Anthony, which was a kind of a coast to coast thing here in the United States in its biggest heyday. You didn't have privy to that. So to hear somebody who just came upon Anthony without knowing about his previous history in radio is pretty amazing. But when you see what he's built up, and not knowing him from Opie and Anthony, you wouldn't have gotten to see this, but how he built his own show, which was called Live from the Compound, before he did Compound Media, was brilliant. And he was one of the original ones to do this. He was the one who Joe Rogan said, "Look what he's doing. I can do that." And look what happened to Joe Rogan.
Really?
It's the biggest podcast in the world. It was all based off of what Anthony had done, who had this amazing, futuristic site to say, you know what, I'm going to do something at home. And from what I remember, it's something that he kind of did, I don't want to say accidentally, but he was home playing his video games. He had his karaoke stage, and he's like, I want to do something while I'm here. And he put it out, and now he has laid the foundation for everything. Gas Digital, like I said, Rogan, everybody who's got a podcast now is in some way emulating what he did all those years ago. And for that, you got to give him major credit.
Yep, that's so cool. Well, one last thing before I let you go, because I got to tell you, dude, I've never ever seen or heard anybody sing like you. You claim, well, I learned how to sing in the car. Well, if you learn how to sing in the car, then I'm friggin' Pavarotti, dude.
Look, that's absolutely true. I know for those of you watching, I do karaoke. I'll probably do it later on tonight, actually. I'll probably do a karaoke stream tonight. I'll see how the voice holds up. It's a little froggy right now. But I just have fun singing. And I never thought about karaoke. I never been to a karaoke bar or whatever until I went to a party at Anthony's. And I got up on the stage.
No way.
Yep, it was the first time I got up on the stage in Anthony's basement. And I did a song, and I got people clapping. And Anthony came over to me and was like, "Dude, your voice, what? It's amazing." And I was like, "Oh, please." I'm like, I do not think I have I'm able to do what I call like vocal imitation. I try to emulate the person who's singing the song. Make it sound as close to the record as you can. And sometimes I nail it, sometimes I don't. A few I know I really do good. And that's where it grew.
You, dude. You nail it. I mean, you go from friggin' Neil Diamond to the Bee Gees to Neil Diamond to the Bee Gees to Jeff Lynne, and I'm thinking, that sounds like all of those guys.
Well, that's why also I probably have to stop streaming on Twitch, because Twitch every time is like, dude, copyright violation. Dude, copyright violation. We're going to ban you. We're going to ban whatever. I just let it keep going, but I've got to go to some kind of, YouTube is less frequent with it. They'll just block whatever audio they think. They don't block it live, but they will block it a day later. They'll say, yeah, this audio couldn't be played in this particular country. And I'm like, I don't know why. It's something that has to do with the monetization of the channel, which I don't get any money off of, but it's something I got to turn off, whatever. But I have a lot of fun with it. I'm glad people tune in and watch it. There's that one guy, I forget, he's from Australia. that comes in and asks me to do songs, and you guys have asked me to do some goofy shit. You just got to have fun with it. That's all it is. You got to have fun with it. And that's what I do.
Oh, man, that fun gets translated to me. I mean, you sing songs that I swear are 50 years old, and I'm thinking, I know this song, and it sounds phenomenal. So I just want to thank you. Oh. You're so entertaining.
I thank you wholeheartedly. You're one of the guys that comes in on the streams all the time. I totally appreciate you. I thank you so much for your kind words. Yeah, my musical tastes are a very eclectic mix. My sister says that I was born up in a really bad time for music because I was too late for the 70s, and I kind of fell in between where the 80s kind of synth kind of kicked in, so there was a lot of wonkiness going on there. But yes, I love my Bee Gees. I still say Anthony does the best Neil Diamond. I will never even try to tell. Oh yeah, his Neil Diamond is spot on. He does a great Neil. He knows a lot. He knows a lot more songs also from that era than I do. I really only do 2 Neil Diamond songs. He could do them all. He could do Sweet Caroline. He can do whatever in Blue Jeans. That's all him. I don't. In fact, every time I do a Neil Diamond song, I have to make homage because I'm like, I just want you to know he does it better. I'm not trying to overstep my bound because there's karaoke lines that you don't want to cross. But yeah, the Bee Gees and Jeff Lynne, ELO, and just I love seeing people come in, and I see the numbers up on the top of who's watching. And again, I'm doing it 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up half the house, but I just have fun with it. And I thank you, and I thank everybody who comes in and watches those streams.
Sure
I really appreciate it. As well as I appreciate everybody who's watching this malarkey that I've put together, and that I'm really having a lot of fun with doing. The only thing that I find that's a little hard with this is getting the time during the week to get things I want to talk about together. And then like last night, I had to sit for 3 hours and get all these graphics put up and all this stuff. So it takes a lot of time, and this is where, and I want to say it. Yeah, I want to say it right now. My appreciation for anybody who does this stuff in the background, Chrissy's husband, Frank, Garrett, Steve, Drew, and anybody on any of the podcasts, whoever does Rogan's podcast, who takes the time, sets up the camera shots, gets the audio put in, gets the videos set up, all the graphic images. It takes a lot of time to do that, to get it right. And these people really must be given major kudos, because without them, you don't get that content that you're going to see on these wonderful shows. Next time you watch Anthony's show, next time you watch Gino's show, next time you watch Morning with Joanne, just keep in mind that they're sitting there talking, but the guys in the booth, they're the ones who are doing everything from videos to links to posting, all that stuff. That's all them, and they do it at really great professional job. I love them all, and they just deserve a lot of kudos. I will say even more, when Chrissy does the Content House, which is got to be just an amazing setup of multiple cameras, multiple audio sources.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, one last thing, Chris. I was watching Mannix the other night, and guess who was the guest star? Lou Rawls. And I'm thinking, oh boy, am I going to request? Am I going to request? You never find another love like mine.
Oh yes, I know that episode. All right, Donald, thank you very much for calling. Very successful call there. I know that Mannix episode. One of the greatest and most fun things that I have done over the last couple of years is when Anthony and I would be. I'm here. Anthony was here in New York, and we would turn on MeTV, the Twilight Zone around midnight, I think, or 11 o'clock, and we'll sit there. And as soon as Mannix comes on, we would start texting each other about the guests that are on, the fact that Mannix is concussed 14 times in the first 10 minutes of the show. Oh my God, I have literally cried laughing, laying in bed with my poor wife asleep next to me, laughing my ass off at the texts that would go back and forth between Anthony and I. And then same thing with Cannon would come on. We're texting, dude, Cannon is going to chase down this perp. The perp is 5'3", 120 pounds. Here's Cannon, 5'1", 450 pounds, yet he caught him in 7 steps. Fucking hilarious stuff. One day, I would love to do a kind of a Mystery Science Theater 3000 with on a Mannix or a Canon episode, or even Barnaby Jones. Anthony loved Barnaby Jones. I would kind of peter out after Canon, because Canon comes on at 3 in the morning. Barnaby Jones comes on at 4. By that time, I'm pretty much... But yeah, that would be hilarious to just break down an old episode from the 70s. How different. We would laugh at things like the dress, the wardrobe, the decor of where they are, the cars. How come Mannix had all these episodes chasing down perps on his car? Never once was there ever a scratch on his car. Yet all the other perps' cars were fucking destroyed. Mannix's car, it looks like it just came out of the wash. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, that's an idea to do for future shows. That'll be a fun one. I could probably set up something. In here. We could actually watch a Mannix show together and break it down. Maybe get a guest on to do that at the same time. That would be a lot of fun. So, all right. So we've done about an hour and 40 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. I want to thank Donald again for calling in, and I will have more of a permanent system for calls and stuff during the future shows. Like I said, next week the key is we're going to have a guest. I want to got something lined up for that. Just got to test it, make sure everything's working. And, follow, subscribe on the channel. The more followers I get, the more production this sucker will have. Because I'd love to get chats and stuff in the room. I'll figure that out. And, hey, man, Saturday noon. This is great. It actually gets me up at a decent hour, because I'd usually be sleeping till 2 or 3 in the afternoon on Saturday. Thank you all for watching. I love all of you. Have a lot of fun doing this. It's more fun than I originally thought it would be. So I don't mind putting the time in to come up with things to talk about and to make all these graphics and stuff like that. So, yeah, just follow along. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you next week. Same bat time, same batshit channel. Have a good one, folks. Ooh.